All right, hi everybody. This is Square Table Degenerates podcast. We're joined today by Mr. Hurricane Peter McNeeley.
You know, as many know, back then. So my father fights the championship world. My parents had 4 boys. My mom had 4 boys, no girls, and it was at that time Medfield was just a little town with only one traffic light. And it was just a real little town in the middle of, about half an hour west of Boston. And my father, after he fought with the championship world, they bought a home there. And my grandparents lived in Medfield as well, and my mother's parents. And it was a much simpler time. It was awesome,
Now, did you go into boxing because of your dad? I mean, was your grandfather a boxer too?
Like, I'm a 3rd generation.
Oh, nice.
I'm a 3rd generation professional boxer. My grandfather, actually, I'll take you over and show you.
Okay.
My grandfather was on the 1928 Olympic boxing team.
Oh, wow.
That's my grandfather right there.
Oh, how cool.
Can you see?
Oh, yeah, I can see that perfect. That's awesome.
And, that was Tom McNeeley Sr. And my grandfather, my mother's father, my mother's mother, they were awesome. They lived in Medfield too. I mean, I could go on and on about and my mother's father, my grandfather. He was a huge boxing fan too. And I couldn't tell you how many the big thing was I'd go to his place on a Saturday, cut the grass, and watch the fights on free TV.
I remember those days.
How old are you?
I'm 43. So I graduated in 95, high school in 95 when you were boxing Tyson there. But how old are you when you did your first amateur match? When you first got
again, like a story that's unheard of. like to get to the level where I got as a pro, I mean, these guys would have, at the minimum, 40, 50 amateur fights. And my competition around me had like over 100 amateur fights. And I only had 21 amateur fights. While I was going to college full time.
That was actually one of my questions. Were you were actually going to college while you were boxing at the same time in amateur?
Yes. I started between freshman and sophomore year in the summer. I started then because I went to Bridgewater State College, which is right next to the City of Champions, Brockton. Brockton is, and that's, was where, now it was fall of 1987, and Marvelous Marvin Hagler had just fought Sugar Ray Leonard in one of the biggest pay-per-view events of all times. And we were Marvin Hagler fans growing up. My father knew Marvin, took us to see Marvin at his training camp and way the heck down on Cape Cod, and took us, I could go on and on, like great memories. But I got older and things change in people's lives and whatever. But Marvin was still going strong, right? And that fight with Leonard, which is still a controversy today.
Oh, yeah.
Who won that fight? But that aside, I walked into that gym in Brockton. It was a great gym, but people did not understand because they thought that because this world champion came from there, that it was like a great gym, but it was like, it was a war. It was a war every night. It was a war every night. There was no stopping, coaching, correcting, teaching, practicing. It was just, bang, 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 war every night. And that's good in the short run, but in the long run, it's not good. Things that you're not gonna develop the way you should as a young amateur or as a young pro.
Now, did you graduate and then you go pro, or how soon after you graduated did you go pro? Or how old were you when you had your first pro fight?
Well, I finished college, and I had an issue with credits.
Okay.
And like technically, I didn't graduate till '96. Okay. But when I finished in '91, and then as it turned out, I ended up having more credits than I needed. I mean, it was bizarre. It was a whole strange, odd thing, but whatever. Hey, whatever. And I got my diploma right over there, and that diploma is like right here with all my boxing, memorabilia.
Oh, nice.
But what, right here.
Oh, congrats, man. Good deal.
My college diploma.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was like 28 when I finally got my college diploma too. So I'm right there with you.
I mean, really? When I got the diploma, I was 27. Okay. But I was done with school. I was 23. you know, like when 22, I was 22. I was 22 when I was done at Bridgewater State College. I was done. And, you know, whatever, you know, like, I got my college diploma, and you know what? Have I used it? Have I used it? No. But let's just say somebody called me tonight, said, Peter, hey, we got a great job for you, boss. All expenses paid. You know, everything's on us. Well, you know, do you have a college diploma? Sure. All right, you're hired. You know, but you know, like, hey, there are many people out there that never graduated high school or college and became millionaires.
Oh, yeah.
Became big business. So I mean, who's to say what? You know, who's really to? Hey, nice lid.
You like it?
Nice hat.
That's my Indian. That's my Cleveland Indians. That World Series logo on it. That's my favorite one.
Ooh, the Indians, the tribe.
Heck yeah. Now, when you were out there for your first boxing match, you were probably what, 23, something like that. When you your first pro fight.
My first amateur fight that I was almost 19. The first one that I won, I was 19. And then my first pro fight, I believe I was 20. Yeah, I was 22, but I was like, whatever, like 5 weeks away from turning 23. You know?
Okay. Now, when you first started out, were you a heavyweight to start out with, or was there any cruiserweight, or was it heavyweight right from the bit?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because now I left. I was always in the amateurs. Heavyweight was between 170, 178, and 201.
Okay.
Was the amateur heavyweight. Anything over 201. Spark it up, baby. Anything over 201 pounds was a super heavyweight.
Oh, wow.
And today in the pros, it's anything over 175 to 200 pounds is heavyweight.
Okay.
And anything over 200 pounds is, I'm sorry. Anything over 170, like if you're over 176 pounds, you're a cruiserweight.
Okay.
If you're 198 pounds, you're a cruiserweight. If you're 205 pounds, you're a heavyweight.
Okay. Now you go out there for your first match. I looked this up. I looked up on your.
My first one fight, I was 196 pounds. So at that time, back then, I was 1 pound into the heavyweight division.
Now I looked this guy up. His name was Van Dorsey, and it says you knocked him out in 50 seconds. Now going into this fight, Van the man. Did you meet this guy before? Did you know you were going to kill him? I mean, how did you know? What was your confidence level? Your first pro fight going in there?
We met each other at the pre-fight. It was a big night of boxing at like what they call here, Boston University. It was on Nickerson Field, which was like a big, college football field.
I think that's where the Baltimore Braves used to play back in the day, if I'm not mistaken.
I was just gonna say that because my father was old school. My dad was old school. And he'd always say, it's at the old Braves field.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the old Braves field. You're dead right. You're on the money. Wow. I
when you went in there, obviously there's no fight.
Somebody knows their Boston history.
Oh yeah, I do my homework. No, you don't believe it. Better believe that. I do my homework on Batesville. Now, when you were out there and you knocked them down, do you remember what kind of punch you used? How you smoked them, or how was it?
I remember it like it was this morning.
How was that feeling winning that first pro fight?
See, what it was again, this was a big show on that field, on the old Braves field. But like it was a big show, and but I was the first on the second fight of a marathon night of I think it was 15 fights that night. Wow. And I was the first or second pro fight to it was still daylight. It was still daylight. No, it was because by 10 fights later, they had to turn the lights on in the field.
15 fights. How long would a 15 fight card take? How long was that?
Again, that's all subject of reason, because there could have been 10 knockouts, or there could have been 10 fights that went the distance.
10 long, huge fights, 10 quick knockouts for sure.
Yeah. So again, it's all subject to reason.
Now, I was looking on there too. I was looking at your page. It said you went 24-0 before you ended up losing to somebody. Now, that 24 wins is pretty damn impressive. I don't care what anybody says about boxing. To beat 24, I mean, imagine walking down the street and you point out 24 people and you knock them all out. That's unheard of.
Hey, also it's I don't care. Hey, go and win 24 games of basketball, or go win 24 games of friggin' tiddlywinks, whatever. Go ahead, but
you don't do it. It's impossible. It's impossible to do something like that. Now, this guy's your first loss to Mr. Stanley Wright. Did that really? Did you learn anything from that? Did you remember that guy? Do you remember that fight like yours yesterday too? How did you deal with that emotionally?
The guy. Well, number one, the guy was 7. He was 7 feet. He was 6'10".
Oh jeez.
And I beat this guy so bad. I mean, it was just like my manager Minnie used to say, you beat guys and you take something. He's like, you beat these guys and you beat them so bad. The guy was my manager Vinny was very friendly with his guy, his manager. And he said, the guy said he was puking blood and pissing blood for 2 weeks. I mean, that's, that is from a straight body attack. Just a straight up body. I beat this guy's body like nobody before or since that way. And Vinny said that his manager said, he's yeah, the guy's gonna be lucky if he's able to fight again in months. It's gonna take him probably 3 months to recover from the beating. It's a crazy, thankless game.
Oh, I can imagine, man. You see when you're at that boxing. To me, from what I've gathered, watching boxing years, you can get the highest of highs, but you can also get the lowest of lows too. You know what I mean? It's such a light swing, some of that.
Hell yeah.
Now, I got a random question for you. I've always wondered this. And now the last fight you did before Tyson, there was this guy named Frankie Hines, and I looked up this record. It was 14, 68, and 2. Now if you're how do you get a pro boxing record? So basically, you just stay healthy, and then you can go out and get whatever. Like if I wanted to go train right now and register, and I wanted to go box, I could get a 0-1 record. How does that even work?
We still have guys like that today. So don't get it twisted. They still have guys like that today. I was reading something, just like a day or two ago about somebody that was, his record was 14 wins, 14 losses. But these guys have a purpose.
Oh, yeah.
They have a purpose. And that purpose is like, all right, the guy might have lost 14 fights, but the guy might have went in losing. He might have went 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, or 10 rounds. Like 4 times. You would say the guy goes 10 rounds 4 times out of 10, but he loses the decision. See, there's a process and a procedure. That like every win on your record means something, to you at that time. Like I fought this guy 3 times, and everybody in this area knew him. His name was Jimmy, and Jimmy Harrison. And now Jimmy, again, had a record like that, like I don't know, his record was like 8 wins and 40 losses, but he would go the rounds, and he fought like a lot of big names, like Razor Ruddock. This guy fought a lot of big names, and Shannon Briggs. I mean, and it just goes to show you that everybody does it. Everybody, I don't care. Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, or Peter McNeeley. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. Everybody does it.
Now, at the time,
my father did it. In his career.
All right, now what were you? Now I was reading up on the background of some of the Tyson fight. Now it says you were ranked 7th in the WBF at the time of
I was number 7 by the WBA. I was number 10 by the WBC. But to this day, people say, "Wow, you fought in the championship of the world," and I'll say to them, I'll be like, No, it didn't. Because Mike Tyson had just got out of prison. It was on the champion. He was right out of prison. So, the fight was a 10-round scheduled main event. And so that's all it was.
Okay.
It was a 10-round scheduled main event.
Now, where were you when you they first contacted you about this, and then they said, "Hey, we want you to fight Tyson"? How did they notify you back then? What was the deal with that?
It was talked about for months, and then but no, you don't really know. You don't really know till you sign that contract.
Oh yeah.
And now at that time, I was already under. We were already under contract, and with Don King Productions. I mean, put it this way. Whether it was like a lot of people remember this, when Oliver McCall knocked out Lennox Lewis in London, they came back to like Vinny calls me up. He's like, Peter, we have to be at. Matter of fact, I was up in like Burlington, Vermont. I was way up there. My Vinny calls me up. He's like, Peter, I don't mean to cut your weekend short, but we gotta be at the Rainbow Room at Rockefeller Plaza at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, I jumped in the car. I drove back to, to Medfield, and then, the next morning I got up early and drove down to Braintree, which is right out, like literally, like one town away from the Boston City line, and so, and Vinny looks at me and goes, I want you to know where you were when I tell you you're not going to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world. And the next thing I know, like, we get on a shuttle, we get on basically an hour plane ride to New York City. Not even, maybe like 15 minutes. Go down to Rockefeller Center, and there's this big press conference, and I'm just a kid from Medfield now, seeing all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, wow, man, wow, this is cool. And it was like Peter McNeeley. This is your life. It was cool.
Now the trip down to Vegas and the fight itself. Now, did they fly you in and they took you in a limo, or how did that work? And did you like meet a bunch of celebs before the fight? Did you meet like Tupac or anything like that? How did that work?
It's funny because people do not know this either. But like, now you figure when we actually signed the contract to fight Mike Tyson, it was the first week of May, 95, and we flew out to Vegas. A huge press conference being run by Don King, and Joe, and I'm on one side. This is me, myself, and Vinny, and Cliff, my assistant trainer, Cliff Pippin. We're on one side of the stage. Mike Tyson's on the other side with his guys, his team, and like Don King said a few things. Dan Mike Tyson come and say a couple things, and then Dan me come and say a couple things, and then I myself and Mike met in front of the stage, and you know what? Mike Tyson looked me right in the eye, stuck his hand out, shook my hand, said, "Good luck."
Nice.
I respected that.
That's awesome.
I respected that. And
how soon? What was the exact date of the fight? Was it later that year or later that night?
August 19th, 1995. So you're talking like this press conference was like May 9th.
That's 3 months of hype. 3 whole months.
Yeah, all the hype, but in reality, what it was Mike had just gotten out of doing time, and he had to get rid. He had to.
Okay.
And he was wearing this beautiful suit, and so you couldn't tell what kind of shape he was in. I mean, you could tell he was not heavy. He was not heavy.
Right.
He was already in, because the word is that he did like 1,000 push-ups a day, 1,000 sit-ups a day, jail. No. Oh, hey, I don't care if you do, hey, you do 100 a day. After so many years doing that, you're going to be in some kind of shape.
Oh, yeah. If you work out, you're just going to get in shape, man. It's just the bottom line of working out. Now, when you were, those 3 months, were you training extra hard as opposed to your normal schedule, or what was your regimen? Like, how many hours a day were you working out?
Well, I'll tell you what, like, we had a training camp in July. Like, all right, well, back to the fight. Because Mike was so like, Mike was just a little like sick of whatever, like talking to people, doing interviews. Like he says, I'm only talking to Charlie Steiner on ESPN, the guy for the Showtime infomercial, Steve Albert, and Larry King Live. Like he had like a special relationship with all those guys. He said, that's it. Those are the only people I'm talking.
Okay.
So, in effect, who did they come after now?
You?
Yours truly. And like the going joke was that I did the most amount of interviews in the shortest amount of time.
How many? What was your favorite interview you did in that 3 months leading up to the fight? Would you say?
Listen, like, I was on Letterman. I was on Leno. I was on Larry King Live too.
Nice.
I would have to say both Letterman and Leno were pretty cool. Very good because I mean, like, now with Leno, like Letterman was in New York City, so again, we had a press conference to Tyson. We did Leno, like people don't know. Well, I guess they know a little bit, but they filmed both those shows in the afternoon. They just do a tape delay and put it on at 11:30. No, but so we another shuttle ride to New York City, and we did that. Then the next day, with a press conference with Tyson in Harlem, New York.
Oh, geez. In the 90s, too. Wow.
No, I didn't care. I was like, let's go. Giddy up.
Buckle up. Now, the night of the fight, what were your nerves?
Giddy up. Not buckle up. Giddy up.
Giddy up, baby. Giddy up. What were your nerves like when you were just standing there, walking into the ring, all them 15,000 people? How many people are at the MGM Grand looking at you? Millions and millions of people on pay-per-view on TV. Probably the biggest, most eyes you'll ever be on you. What are your nerves like? What is that? What's one thread?
It broke the pay-per-view record of all time that night. That was a PPV record breaker.
Oh,
yeah. But again, I'm smart enough to know I was just a co-star. Mike Tyson. They were there to see Mike Tyson.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was not the main attraction. I was the co-star. But like Don King said, listen, and you could tell by the way I fought, I went in to win that fight.
I watched it just yesterday. It's been like 20. I probably haven't watched it since maybe once since it aired. I remember watching it when it first aired, and you just came out and you just said, "Screw it, I'm just gonna go after you, just everything you wanted."
Fuck this! I'm going right out.
One chance, let's get it, man. I respect the hell out of it.
Who knows? Maybe he's just a little off his game. Being out 3.5 years. Maybe he's a little bit off. Maybe he doesn't want this anymore. who really knows? Who knows? So I'm getting the chance. I'm fucking taking it.
Hell yeah. Now, did you when the fight ended? Did you want it to end? Because I mean, you theoretically could have won a little bit longer. But I know that's usually up to the fighter. Did you want it to end, or did you want to keep going?
Everybody can say whatever the hell they want, but the bottom line is this. Now, the first, I'll tell you like this. The first knockdown, I was off balance, and he did catch me. Like his speed was just so blinding fast speed. And in that fight time, he was 216 pounds. I mean, that's blinding fast speed with power, with power. So now that all being said, the first knockdown. Now I will say this, you zig when you should have zagged. I was off balance. But he caught me with a good straight right. Now, yes, he caught me. I went down. But as you saw, I was right back up before the thing even started to count. And fine. And then went right back at him again. And at the end, I was caught with what is Mike's best punch, which is the uppercut.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And probably one of the best uppercutters of the modern era of boxing.
Oh yeah,
so I took that, but I have a special film that my brother Tom, my oldest brother Tom, is in the business.
Okay.
My oldest brother Tom was a producer for ESPN.
Okay.
I had a producer for ESPN for over 25 years. So he had connections that got me the raw footage of the Tyson fight, from like 5 different angles.
Okay.
And you can see clear as day. That second knockdown. Now, you look like you were fine. Hey, fuck you. You take that, but you tell me how it feels. So, but the bottom line is this. When I went down on my face.
Oh.
When you go down on your face, and then the last thing that leaves the canvas when you pull your face off it and you're struggling to get up, the last thing that leaves the canvas is your gloves. That tells you something is wrong.
I never knew that. So you're saying if I'm watching a boxing match and the face falls first and they get up, last thing is their gloves, they're in trouble, kind of?
You know what? Like, I think now, when I went down, because I really don't remember, because he caught me a good shot. No, but that all being said, I think I got my hands up like the last second before my face really hit the canvas hard, which maybe that was luck. Maybe I did hit it with my face. I don't know. I don't remember. But the bottom line is, there's enough pictures and film out there that shows that it's just to say, it's all rocket science, right?
Oh yeah.
It's all
now, would you say, in your opinion, is Mike Tyson the hardest person to hit you physically in terms of the guys you faced your whole career?
Like I said, combine the speed with the power. I mean, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah, that was a hell of a cut, man. He just,
No. And that's what the thing is with Mike Tyson that people just don't understand. I say this all the time. All right. Figure this: if you're over 200 pounds,
yeah, I'm about 240.
Say what?
I said I'm about 240. I would say 245.
Woo! All right, right now I'm still the same as what I weighed. 25 years later, I'm 1 pound heavier than what I weighed. What I weighed for the weigh-in. At the weigh-in, I weighed 224. Mike weighed 220. They reweighed us 1 hour before the fight. You're warming up. You're doing your thing. We both lost 4 pounds.
Oh wow!
I was 220. He was 216.
Okay.
And right now today, I'm 225 pounds.
Nice, good job, man. Good stuff. Staying in shape. I like it. Now, do you remember?
Go ahead.
We have a connection besides just doing this interview. We both worked for Pizza Hut back in the 90s. Now, do you remember your Pizza Hut commercial?
Woo!
You were. I remember that I was a senior in high school in 94, 95, and when Pizza Hut was first coming out with stuffed crust pizza, I remember it like the first couple weeks before it came out. And for those who don't remember, what do you describe it? Do you remember that commercial? How did they come to you about that? And tell us about that Pizza Hut commercial if you remember anything about that.
Very, very quickly done. Quickly done, hush hush, because they don't want to let their secrets out. You know what I mean?
Good pizza. If one could say you're kind of the father of the stuffed crust pizza. There's no stuffed crust pizza before Hurricane Peter McNeeley.
With these gray hairs of the grandfather.
It looks like a stuffed crust pizza there you got going with your beard. Almost.
Now here's one for you. The first commercial we did was for, and nobody knew. Nobody had any idea what this was going to become, what it was going to be. I says, really? He says, we're going to Los Angeles to do a commercial. I says, great, let's do it. I goes, well, what's the commercial like? He goes, I don't know, some computer thing. It was for America Online.
America Online. You know what's funny? You just mentioned America Online. I just talked to the guy who did the sounds. Remember, You've Got Mail and all that? I just interviewed him last week on this show. That's so funny you mentioned that. That's crazy. Now, do you? I got a couple other things. Do you remember the butter?
So that was the first commercial.
Okay.
Universal Studios in LA. You just. And guess who directed the commercial? Worked side by side with him for 9 hours. I had no idea who he was, but me and Vinny was huge Seinfeld fans.
Oh, no way.
I still watch Seinfeld every night.
I love Seinfeld. What's your favorite Seinfeld episode of all of them?
Yada yada yada.
Yada one where she yada sex.
I'm joking. I like. Yeah, I love the. It's a Merv Griffin show.
Oh, when he steals all that stuff from that dumpster and Kramer's working.
Yeah.
I love that one. And we're back. And there's like, what are we talking about?
So I worked side by side for 9 hours with Ben Stiller.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Now, at this time, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, the 90s. It's like the Ben Stiller show.
So then he says to me, but you gotta remember, when that show was on, I was either still in the boxing gym or I was driving home from the boxing gym. So I wasn't watching that show. No. But then he goes, you know, Frank Costanza on Seinfeld? Like, yeah. He's like, in real life, that's his father. He's Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller.
Yeah. No, yeah, because Ben Stiller was on MTV back then.
King of Queens. King of Queens. Arthur.
Do you remember? There was another fight. I saw yours. There was one other fight of yours online.
He just died.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I still remember. That's sad. Now, do you remember your Peter McNeeley fight? Or no, the Butterbean fight. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you remember fight yourself with the but
listen, the Butterbean fight was a screwed up deal from the word go. Like with Tyson, I was 26. Now I'm 29, almost 30. It just was a screwed up deal from the word go. With Tyson, the fight was, like from the day we started graduate, as we just discussed, 4 months. Yeah, I could get ready for 2 Tyson fights in 4 months.
It's a long time training for sure.
But with the Butterbean fight, it was like what do you call it? It was
an exhibition.
Month notice, and it was it was a Bob Arum show.
Okay.
Don King and Bob Arum were like back then, like arch enemies. It just and now if you notice in that fight, I was never knocked down.
Oh yeah, I actually was gonna say that was in my notes here, so I was gonna ask you. I think that fight
never knocked down.
You could have won that.
Never hurt. Never and then they stop the fight with the referee jumps in, stops it.
It was right too, with like 6 seconds left in the round.
No. At 2:59.
Oh,
1 second.
1 second left. That's bullshit.
The bell rang. The bell rang. Actually, the bell rang.
That's horrible, man.
So not. And something else. No, I'll give Butterbean a little bit of credit. Butterbean got in shape for me. He usually fought between 340 pounds, between 340 and 360 pounds.
Man.
But for me, he got in shape. He weighed 311 or 312.
Yeah, that's a lot lower than he usually boxes for sure.
Yeah, so he took it way more seriously. I give credit. Now that all being said, he had quick hands. He knew how to box. But you know what? Considering he outweighed me by 99 and a half pounds, couldn't bust a grape. Couldn't punch. Never had me down.
No, you didn't fall once. Not one time.
Not even close. Couldn't punch.
Now, when it was getting time to wrap it up for your career, it was about 2001, 2002. How old were you when you decided to quit? And when did you go?
Hold on, 1 second. Hold on, 1 second. We're running out of juice here, so we gotta get the charger.
Okay.
All right. Okay. uno momento. I should have had this done today. I apologize.
Oh, no problem at all.
Let's make sure we get the right one here. No, that's not it. That's not it. Hey, 3 strikes in a row, right?
Baseball and Wi-Fi, yes, right?
Yep. All right, there we go. And you know what? Let me get a drink. Let me get a little something to drink.
All right, for sure.
Get a little something to drink to wet our whistle. I'll be right. Why?
Smoke a weed now, smoke a weed then.
Right there.
All right, no problem. Take care. For sure.
I'm Angel.
My man Peter, what's up, buddy?
All right. Hey, Joe. Like Jimmy Hendrix says, hey, Joe. Like Jimmy Hendrix says, hey, Joe.
Where are you going with that gun in your hand? That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite songs.
Oh, hey. Oh, my God. You finished it, boy. Oh, my God. That was sexy.
All right, so how old were you at the time when you decided this is going to be it for Peter McNeeley in boxing?
You know, it really didn't, like, all right, what happened, like, it was odd. It was very odd because see, I lost my last 2 in a row. They were scheduled 12-round championship fights. You know, like, again, we joked about Tyson fight being a 10-round main event. People are like, oh, you fought a title. But in reality, I did not fight for scheduled 12-round fights, so my last 2 pro fights. And what happened was well, the sticker last was against Henry Akinwandi. I mean, like, this guy, 6'8", and now for a white guy, I got a long reach. They measure tip to tip, you know, wing tip.
Right.
And mine's 74. For a white guy, it's okay. No, I'm not. Mine aren't extremely long. They're short. A lot of mine are longer than the average man. The average man will walk in the street out there, and if I have to use that reach, it's got like a little kick at the end. But anyways, that being said, Aguilati's reach was like mine was. His was 86.
Ooh, jeez.
Now this is a known thing. Your reach, your wingspan is equal to your height. 9.9 times out of 10. The wingspan is equal to your height.
Right, how long you go this way and this way.
Yeah.
That was in South Africa, right? Cape Town, South Africa?
No. Aguilati was in Tallahassee, Florida. It was St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2001. And that, so now, like, you know, I'm I'm not great at the end of the winter, like, cause where we live, I don't know where you live. Where I live, and you're not doing as much road work, and in you're not doing as much road work in December, January, February as you are in, May, June, July, October, like in Massachusetts, New England, I'll run, well, back then, I would run, shit. I'd run any time, but you just aren't doing as much running in January, late December, January, a good portion of February. You're not running as much as you are March, April, May, June, July, October, July, August, September, October, November. You're doing way more. You're not doing as much road work.
Oh, yeah.
Now then, like, we ended up getting hit with like a freak snow ice storm. It was like March. It was March, like 9th or 10th. And, next thing you know, but, myself and my little brother were living at my mom's house. My mom was in Florida, and we were there, doing great. And this blizzard hit, was all ice, and a bunch of freaking ice went on a branch in our, my mom's yard. The branch fell on the wire to the house, pulled the wire out of the house. There was a wire that controlled the furnace and the electricity. It just, like Don King says, only in America. Well, only to Peter McNeeley.
Now, do you ever sit around just on a random Tuesday or Wednesday, just like, man, I'd like to be back in the ring one last time, or you just like, that boat sail, I'm here enjoying my life now.
You know what? I had 54 pro bike. And I had like the 37 before Tyson. We did 37 fights.
Oh, wow.
in 44 months.
That's a lot of boxing.
It's like a fight. There was a fight if you tried to figure out, it was right every 5 weeks for less than 4 years.
Wow. So what are you doing with yourself these days? What are you just hanging out, living life, or what?
Yeah. Like I did work as a laborer for Jesus, like 12, 13 years. I was a laborer, and now I'm just relaxing, man.
I forgot to ask you one question before we get out of here. Where did you get the nickname? Where did you get the nickname Hurricane from? You're in Boston. It doesn't get hit with hurricanes. Where did you get that nickname?
Funny you should ask. Back to Nickerson Field, Boston University.
Praise Field, baby.
Pro debut. August 23rd, 1991. Boston got hit by it. And the fight almost got canceled or postponed by Hurricane Bob.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Same day.
So I said, Hurricane Peter McNeeley.
That's perfect. I never knew that story. That's cool. Outstanding, my friend. Well, thank you for joining me on this. I'm going to air this on Friday night at 9:30 if you want to watch it, okay?
Joe, Like,
Yes, sir.
how would I watch?
It's on YouTube, so I can just send you the YouTube link.
Right,
And
okay.
before you go, can you give me like this is
I love my wife. I love my wife, Anna Rita McNeeley. Anna Rita McNeeley.
How long you been married?
I've been married for over 3 years.
Oh,
We've been together for almost 6 years. She's awesome.
Okay.
She's awesome.
Can you give me a hey? This is Peter McNeeley, and you're listening to the Square Table Degenerates podcast.
Okay, so we go like this. All right, give me the title again.
The STD podcast.
You know what that CD is? I had that CD before I fought Mike Tyson.
It's Square Table Degenerates. We call STD for short.
I was scared to death. STD, scared to death. Everybody else always thinks sexually transmitted disease. All right, okay. So give me what you want to say again.
All right, say this is Peter McNeeley, and you're listening to the STD podcast.
This is RK Peter McNeeley. Listen to the STD podcast.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr.
Good. Hey, if you don't listen, I'm gonna wrap you in a cocoon of horror.
Just like they did one night. Outstanding, Mr. McNeeley. Thanks for joining me, my friend. We'll talk to you, bud.
Thank you, Joe. Have a great night. God bless everybody out there in the boxing world.
All right, for sure. Take it easy, brother.